Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles. Jim ended up getting snowed in this week. Hopefully he can join us on our next news broadcast. This week, the Oxford Township Board gets a raise. The Oxford community mourns another familiar face and new places to vote in the township. All that and more, the Oxford News begins right now. At a cost of nearly $20,000, the Oxford Village Council approved plans to move forward with maintenance work on its aging water tower. Michigan-based Nelson Tank Engineering and Consulting, known as Ontw, was given the green light to prepare the contract documents and technical specs for the project. Village manager Joe Medore said the tower would be taken out of service for about 2 weeks during the work. In that time, a temporary holding tank will be set up to maintain water levels. The council's agreement also covers project administration, inspections, and a bidding process, right down to reviewing insurance coverage and performance bonds. At this week's meeting, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees voted unanimously 6-0 to increase compensation for township trustees by $5 per meeting starting January 26th. 2026. Under the new pay rate, trustees receive $170 per board meeting, $145 for committee meetings, and $300 for meetings lasting more than 4 hours. This raise applies only to the 4 trustees, not to full-time officials such as the supervisor, treasurer, or clerk. Planning Commission members will now receive $135 per meeting, while their chair earns $10 more. The Zoning Board of Appeals will earn the same. The Board of Review members will receive $325 for a full day meeting, $275 for a half day. It was a banner year for the Oxford Fire Department, just not necessarily a good one. Fire Chief Matt Majestic said in 2025 they saw more calls than ever, nearly 2,500 calls. That's about 200 more than the previous record set in 2022. Most of the calls were medical in nature and many requiring transport to area hospitals. Chief Majestic told the Township Board that having a hospital in Oxford would dramatically reduce ambulance turnaround time, which currently averages about 2 hours per transport. He also reported the department provided mutual aid to neighboring communities 71 times and received aid 53 times in total. There are 43 confirmed fires in 2025 with estimated losses topping $5 million. For a short time last week, residents across Oakland County could text to 911 but not call. The sheriff's office reported a temporary outage and urged the public to use an alternate emergency number. Services were restored shortly after, though no explanation was given for the disruption. The Oxford Township Board is now seeking applications for a vacant trustee seat. Trustee Paul Shapira resigned earlier this month, citing increased professional obligations that would prevent him from giving the position the time it deserves. Applications for the vacancy are due Thursday, 29th, which would have been last week, at noon. Applicants needed to be a township or village resident for at least 30 days. The board plans to conduct interviews during a special meeting on February 4th, with the new trustee serving until November 26th. The Oxford community is mourning the loss of Parks and Rec's Commissioner Rick Laidler. Rick passed away peacefully on January 12th, surrounded by his family. He served the township for more than 2 decades, from 1988 to 2012, and played a major role in expanding Oxford's parks system from 2 public parks to 4. Under his leadership, the township developed Powell Lake Park and Oakwood Lake Park and built community favorites like Kids Kingdom, the KLR Splash Pad, and the Red Flyer Run Sledding Hill. A pavilion at Seymour Lake Township Park now bears his name, a tribute to the man who helped make Oxford a better place for generations to come, and he will be missed. Oxford voters take note. The township has considered its reconsidered its voting precincts, and they consolidated them, reducing the total from 7 to 5. Precincts 2 and 6 have been combined, with voting now held at the Parks and Recs Community Room on Seymour Lake Road. 3 and 4 will now be at Lake Point Community Church. Former Precinct 7 voters will now cast ballots at Freedom Church on South Lapeer Road. Precincts 1 and 5 remain unchanged. New voters' registration cards will be mailed out soon, and the consolidation is expected to save the township over $3,000 per election. A quick reminder for pet owners, dog licenses are no longer sold at the Oxford Township Hall. You can pick one up at the Oxford Village office on Burdick Street or purchase online through the DocuPet system. If you don't have online access, township staff are happy to help you complete your registration using the computer kiosk located at the Township Hall. Oxford Community School Board of Education heard a mid-year report on student safety. Dr. Allison Willeman, who oversees school safety and student services, shared that for the first half of the school year, the district administered 78 threat assessment scanners and 9 full threat assessments. Willeman said that the increase shows that the district's See Something, Say Something culture is working, with students, teachers, and parents all helping to ensure safety by reporting concerns quickly. And in our last story, Sick Pizza opened in downtown Oxford, believing that great food, great service, and a strong local community matter, even when we're told downtowns wouldn't work and the chains would win out. They chose to believe Oxford. Like many downtown businesses, they invested heavily in the building, staff, and product because thriving downtowns depend on everyday support, not just event days. The past year has been one of the hardest for the small businesses in the community, and while they are grateful for the love they hear from customers, many local businesses continue to struggle. Supporting local businesses means supporting your neighbors. Local owners live here, give back here, and reinvest here. Keeping Oxford strong, Sick Pizza wants to be here for the long haul alongside the independent businesses that make this town special. If they can ask any one thing, please choose locally owned businesses when you can help spread the word. Owners Scott and Tom, thank you for your support. And coming up, we have Dave Kenny with Auto Talk and Science in the News, and I'll be back with sports, if you can believe that. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
In today's digital world, it's hard to know who to trust. Your local TV and radio stations bring you the facts. Misinformation and deep fakes flood social media. but broadcasters deliver verified and accurate news. For news, emergency updates, sports, and entertainment, turn to your local stations. Text TV to 52886 and urge Congress to support the vital local journalism broadcasters provide.
You know the national parks, but you may not know that they're supported by a strong foundation. A foundation for the future. We are the National Park Foundation. And together with your support, we are building a bold future where national parks are vibrant, protected, and welcoming. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from Automotive News. Stellantis has canceled its full lineup of plug-in hybrid vehicles that it spent the past 5 years turning into some of the segment's top sellers. The automaker will instead focus its electrification strategy on conventional hybrids such as the redesigned Jeep Cherokee that is shipping to dealerships now, range-extended electric vehicles, and a small number of full EVs. The Jeep Wrangler 4xe, the #1 plug-in hybrid in the U.S., according to registration data, is among the vehicles the company has canceled for the 2026 model year. The Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid, and Alfa Romeo Tonale plug-in hybrid variant also is being discontinued, Stellantis confirmed on January 9th. The company canceled the Jeep Gladiator 4xe last year before it arrived and in July stopped importing the Dodge Hornet plug-in from Italy because of tariffs. Stellantis continually evaluates its product strategy to meet evolving customer needs and regulatory requirements, the company said in a statement. It went on to say, with customer demand shifting, Stellantis will phase out plug-in hybrid PHEV programs in North America beginning with the 2026 model year and focus on more competitive electrified versions, including hybrid and range-extended vehicles where they best meet customer needs. Stellantis has recalled its plug-in hybrid numerous times in recent years for fire risks. The most recent was in November when it recalled over 320,000 Wrangler 4xe and Grand Cherokee 4xe models and advised owners to park away from structures or other vehicles and not to charge their vehicles. A Stellantis spokesman said the recalls didn't factor into the decision, instead attributing it to a shift in customer demand. The company will move ahead with launches of its range-extended electric powertrain technology, which is expected to debut this year in the Jeep Grand Cherokee and Ram 1500. The Wrangler 4xe debuted in 2021 and quickly became the top-selling plug-in hybrid on the market. In 2022, a quarter of Wranglers sold were the 4xe model, which offers about 20 miles of electric-only driving range. Stellantis led the plug-in hybrid segment with U.S. market share of 22% of November, according to S&P Global Mobility registration data. It sold nearly 60,000 of the vehicles in the first 11 months of the year, ahead of Toyota at about 46,000. But plug-in hybrids accounted for only 1.8% of the market last year versus 8.1% for full EVs, giving Stellantis little reason to keep making them, said Stephanie Brindley's S&P Global Mobility Associate Director of Auto Intelligence. The Wrangler 4xe remained #1 among plug-in hybrids, with 32,419 registrations as of November when sales were halted for the recall. The Toyota RAV4 was on its heels at 19,095. The Grand Cherokee 4xe and Pacifica plug-in were also staples among the segment's top five nameplates before dropping off last year. The Grand Cherokee ranked 8th as of November, and the Pacifica was no longer in the top 10. Like full EVs, plug-in hybrid sales were helped by the federal tax credit that the Trump administration eliminated after September. Sean Hogan, chairman of the Stellantis National Dealer Council, said he'd rather have vehicles that sell because of their characteristics instead of subsidies. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
In today's digital world, it's hard to know who to trust. Your local TV and radio stations bring you the facts. Misinformation and deep fakes flood social media, but broadcasters deliver verified and accurate news. For news, emergency updates, sports, and entertainment, turn to your local stations. Text TV to 52886 and urge Congress to support the vital local journalism broadcasters provide.
Who can you turn to for news you can trust? Your local TV and radio broadcasters. You trust us to keep you safe during times of crisis and to deliver the weather, sports, and entertainment you rely on every day. We bring you the facts you need to make decisions that matter. And as misinformation floods social media, you can trust your local stations to deliver the truth. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress you rely on your local stations for trusted news.
You know the national parks, but you may not know that they're supported by a strong foundation. A foundation for the future. We are the National Park Foundation. And together with your support, we are building a bold future where national parks are vibrant, protected, and welcoming. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
Hi, welcome back to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles, and I'm doing sports, if you can believe that. Goodrich defeated Oxford boys basketball team this week with a score of 64-59. I think that was last week. Then they also fell to Rochester in the OAA White League. The Oxford girls basketball team beat unbeaten Anchor Bay with a final score of 62-48. Go Lady Cats. Oxford Wildcats begin OAA Red Dual meet action with a 76-0 win at Stony Creek to start with 1-0 in the league play on the season. They also defeated Bloomfield 76-6, but fell to Clarkston 40-22 and goes 1-1 at their second OAA quad of the season. That's our wrap up in sports. Don't go away. I'll be right back with a blooming behind the scenes, behind the lens, and in our behind the lens segment, it's an exciting one. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
In today's digital world, it's hard to know who to trust. Your local TV and radio stations bring you the facts. Misinformation and deep fakes flood social media, but broadcasters deliver verified and accurate news. For news, emergency updates, sports, and entertainment, turn to your local stations. Text TV to 52886 and urge Congress to support the vital local journalism broadcasters provide.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
You know the national parks, but you may not know that they're supported by a strong foundation. A foundation for the future. We are the National Park Foundation. And together with your support, we are building a bold future where national parks are vibrant, protected, and welcoming. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Bird retinas work without oxygen, and now scientists know how. A crucial part of birds' eyes is unlike any tissue known in vertebrate animals. The retina, the light-sensitive layer in the back of the eye, sidesteps the near-universal need for oxygen by vacuuming up heaps of energy-rich sugar instead. The discovery solves a 400-year-old mystery about the physiology of birds' eyes. It also is a neurological paradigm shift, says Christian Damsgaard at the Aarhus University in Denmark. We have the first evidence that some neurons can work without any oxygen, and they've found in the birds that fly around in our gardens, he said. Retinas detect light and relay this information as nerve signals to the brain. The tissues require a lot of energy and are sustained by oxygen and nutrients coursing through a mesh of blood vessels. But bird retinas are extremely thick and no vessels weave into that tissue. It was a mystery how their retinas receive enough oxygen to keep the deep stacks of important nerve cells alive. Damsgaard and his colleagues studied zebra finches in the lab to find an answer. The team put tiny oxygen sensors in the finch's eyes and found that the inner layers of the retina weren't getting any oxygen at all. They get oxygen from the back of the eye, but it cannot diffuse all the way through the retina, says Damsgaard. The team measured the activity of metabolic genes in different parts of the retina. This showed that the oxygen-free areas were heavily using glycolysis, a process that can break down sugars without oxygen. However, it is a much less efficient option. You need 15 times more glucose to generate the same amount of energy, says Damsgaard. So, how was the retina getting that much sugar? Enter the pecten oculi, a rake-shaped collection of blood vessels found in birds' eyes. The pecten was discovered centuries ago, and researchers had speculated that it piped in oxygen. But the team's readings ruled that out. Instead, they discovered the pecten was practically soaking the retina in glucose, 4 times more than what brain cells can suck up to fuel its ravenous glycolysis engine. I'll never pronounce that word right. Luke Tyrrell at the State University of New York in Plattsburgh is surprised that birds could evolve to rely on such an inefficient process for their vision. The retina, especially a bird retina, is one of the most energy-needy tissues in all of the animal kingdom, he says. The thick blood vessel-free retinas may have adapted to enhance birds' visual acuity, making the pectin sugar pump worth the evolutionary hassle. The oxygen-free retina may also set the stage for some birds to evolve high-altitude migration flights, with their vision unaffected by low oxygen levels. For Pavel Nemec at Charles University in Prague, Czech Republic, the findings are a clear case that reminds us that evolution brings very counterintuitive solutions to physical hurdles. Damsgaard and his team wonder if human cells could eventually be modified to be more tolerant of harmful oxygen-free conditions, such as in the aftermath of a stroke. And the search goes on. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Who can you turn to for news you can trust? Your local TV and radio broadcasters. You trust us to keep you safe during times of crisis and to deliver the weather, sports, and entertainment you rely on every day. We bring you the facts you need to make decisions that matter. And as misinformation floods social media, you can trust your local stations to deliver the truth. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress you rely on your local stations for trusted news.
In today's digital world, it's hard to know who to trust. Your local TV and radio stations bring you the facts. Misinformation and deep fakes flood social media, but broadcasters deliver verified and accurate news. For news, emergency updates, sports, and entertainment, turn to your local stations. Text TV to 52886 and urge Congress to support the vital local journalism broadcasters provide.
Hi, I'm Peyton Manning, and I'm partnering with the American Red Cross this year to tackle blood shortages. Giving blood's important because every 2 seconds, someone actually needs blood, and unfortunately, only like 3% of the U.S. population donates. So we have to step up to give and to make sure there's plenty of blood available for those in need. Visit redcrossblood.org to get in the game and make an appointment to give.
You know the national parks, but you may not know that they're supported by a strong foundation. A foundation for the future. We are the National Park Foundation. And together with your support, we are building a bold future where national parks are vibrant, protected, and welcoming. Today, tomorrow, forever. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
Welcome back to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles, and in our Behind the Lens segment, a plant lover on a trip through the Australian outback snapped a photo of an unusual shrub, unaware that the image would reignite botanical history. The plant had gone unseen for more than 60 years and was officially presumed extinct. Scientists had long written off it as a casualty of time and habitat loss. But that single photograph, uploaded to citizen science platform naturalists, caught the attention of experts. Among them, Anthony Bean, a senior botanist at the Queensland Herbarium. He immediately recognized the plant as something extraordinary, a species last recorded in the 1960s, one he personally described a decade earlier. The rediscovery is underscoring a growing realization within university ecology departments worldwide that citizen science platform, like naturalists, are no longer just supplemental tools. They're becoming vital to modern science research, helping experts make major discoveries in places they might never have reached themselves. That's a great story. It gives me hope. So that's it for Oxford News This Week. OCTV can be reviewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191 and Channel 99 on AT&T Uverse. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Amazon Fire Stick, and Roku. If you have a show idea or would like to volunteer with OCTV, give our office a call at 248-628-9658. A very special thank you to Kyle Snage. He's our director extraordinaire, producer, and editor for the OCTV News this week. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Terry Stiles, hoping you have a safe week. We invite you back next week when we take a look at Oxford News This Week.